Hey, good morning, everyone, and especially my new friend, Deirdre Thornton. And thanks for coming on. And thanks for giving us such a treat, Valerie and I, at your clinic about a month ago. You're really good, and you got lots of amazing technology right there. So it's more than just kind of what this book would talk about. And maybe to kick this off, in context of what we're going to talk about, maybe share a little poetry with you. As out of dirty mud beds, gorgeous lilies grow, so out of bent old age comes vibrant youth. And youth from age is not a greater miracle than pure white lilies growing out of mud. But, one of the biggest things that I think modern people ignore is they just kind of put all of this stuff in the closet and don't think about our mortality and so much of health. It really comes down to death or vibrant, healthy life. It begins in the colon and digestion. And I'm sure you've got lots of stories to tell about that, but just maybe fundamentally, you've been doing this, Deirdre, for plus 20 years, is it? And tell us a little bit about your background, what you got, why you got interested in this, and maybe some of the miracles that you've seen happen over the years. And of course, you're ever learning new things, bringing in new technology, and you've got some pretty fancy stuff in there that you thought, oh no, I'm not going to get that, but you saw such benefit that, well, I guess that isn't too much money, so I'll add this to my lab of all kinds of amazing technology. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I got involved in cleaning out the colon years ago, and I lived on a farm with 4 little kids, and I was going to a chiropractor, and his wife was a colon hydrotherapist, and he would try to talk to me about things that were living inside me, and I'd say, no, there's nothing living in me. I am an immaculate housekeeper. You have to come to my house. You have to see it. That's just not happening. And so I wouldn't listen to him. And then he convinced me to have some colonics. His wife was a colon hydrotherapist. So I was going through a series of colonics. And after one colonic, I was home afterwards. And I went to the bathroom and I looked in the toilet and I couldn't even believe what I saw. I thought, oh no, this is really not good, right? So I called him and he was at a convention. And I said, hey, Stephen, what I saw in the toilet was very disturbing, but I'm not dumb. I know if I have things like that in me, that so do my children. And I can't even stand that thought. And I'm going to give them enemas. And he said, well, you have to promise me, no matter what you see, you will not freak out in front of your children. And I said, okay, I promise. So my youngest was 2. And easiest to convince, So I laid a towel up on the counter of the bathroom, and the toilet was right next to it. And I took a bulb syringe and I just put that much water in her. And then I would lift her and put her on the toilet. When I took her off the toilet, what I saw in the toilet was over 1 foot long, and it was so scary. Inside, I was just shaking, So I proceeded at that point to clean out all my children and find out that they all had these. So I thought, well, okay. At that time, my husband had a hard time having regular bowel movements. And so we had taken him to a colon hydrotherapist for a couple colonics. And afterwards I thought, well, we better buy a machine because these are expensive. And it's the only way we're going to be able to afford this. And it seemed to help him. So I got a machine, he taught me how to do it, the chiropractor. And so I gave colonics to my family and my friends for years. And then I decided I got a divorce and had to make a living. And I thought, well, I'll just set this machine up in somebody else's wellness center and see if I can give the public colonics. So I did that. And in a short time, I was really successful, got my own wellness center and proceeded to give people colonics. Well, I would put people on cleanses to clean their body, and I would see things, and then I started to really study about what I was seeing. And as I studied, I became really alarmed because some of these things lay 10,000 eggs a day. Now, I mean, seriously, how are you going to get rid of it? So I thought, well, if I push it back by 25, 50%, they seem to feel better. So I am helping them that way. And but I had this inner knowledge of exactly how horrible this was. Well, then I also noticed along with these things was this stuff, this really fluffy stuff. And as I studied it, there were several kinds of fluffy stuff that came out. And I studied a lot of books on funguses and stuff and realized the body was congested with many different kinds of things. And as I realized this, I became more and more interested. How do I get this out? Do they change their diet? So I had people that would change their diet and go on these diets that, trying to alkalize their body and change the chemistry of their body so that this stuff didn't have a friendly environment. And as I watched him do this, they physically would get more miserable and more miserable because the herbs in this diet they were on was almost impossible to maintain. So as I watched this, then I got more and more interested. I started to read about frequency treatments. So over the years, I have become to realize that the only way to get some of these things that are living in us out was with frequencies. So I started to get, first I started with Holga Clark's Zapper, and then I, got the Rife machine. And then after that, I got a Tesla light. I mean, we're talking $18,500 for that. And then after that, I got this ENG oxygen machine, and it had frequency attached to every oxygen molecule. And I would see benefit from that. And then after that, I got the Hockett and the Hugo. We're talking $150,000 worth of technology. So I'm getting right up there, right? I got the Limp Star. It's another $15,000. And so I realized that frequencies were probably the most comfortable and effective way to get them because they get deep in the body. So I'm using all these frequencies and people are seeing results, and I have over 1,000 clients because I do have good results with what I do. Then comes the Avini products. I was not looking for another business because I'm 74 years old and I'm successful at what I do. I can pretty much call the shots and what time I get here and what time I leave. And I thought I can just go into my old age and this isn't a hard job. I can do this till I'm 90 or 100, So I wasn't looking. But the person that told me about it had been on the microscopes in the Billings Hospital for years and very educated, lovely woman. And she called me up and she said, something has come across my desk and you need to look at it. Well, I really respected her. I also had 2 dark field microscopes. I was studying, parasites in the blood. What does that look like, right? So anyway, we shared the information about the results that she saw with these products. And I got very curious. And I said, okay, I was conservative, send me the smallest pack you got, the $300 pack, I'll try it, Well, immediately when I tried it on myself, it wasn't even 2 days, I would notice a difference. Now I'm 74. I do not have high cholesterol. I do not have blood pressure problems. I do not have any arthritis. I'm pretty much a very healthy specimen for my age. My own doctor says, I'll give you advice about health when I see anyone your age come through my office with your blood work. Up until that point, I'm just listening. Every time you come in here, I'm just listening. So that was a nice compliment from him that what I was doing for myself was actually creating good health. So when the Avini products came, I'm a noticer. I notice everything. I could have been a lawyer or some sort of private eye, right? But I really do notice things. And I noticed that immediately I felt alkaline. And I know what that feels like because I've been on alkaline diets. And but very effective, in my saliva, in my digestion right away. I noticed this and I thought, that's very interesting. I went out to eat with my children, and I try to be very careful when I go out because my children say to me, I'd like to invite you out for dinner, Mom, but you may not ask them what was the date they boiled their eggs. You need to just quit doing that, right? So I thought, okay, fine. I said, you know how much bacteria is on an egg if it's too old? Anyway, so I proceeded to use the products. I proceeded to notice that I do tongue scraping on my tongue, okay, which is candida, right? So I was tongue scraping and I noticed right away, I didn't need to do that. I went, this is really fast. How does that even happen, right? And so I proceeded to take the products. I have a torn ACL and torn meniscus in my wildest dreams. I never thought it would affect that. And right away, it starts getting better, more flexible. And I'm thinking, that's so interesting, right? So then I have had cancer cut out here from my hair and on my nose. And my dad had it too. And it's skin cancer from too much sun. I lived in Hawaii for a while. I covered myself with baby oil and just burn myself crisp. That's what we did. And but I noticed that I had two little white spots right here by my nose. And I thought, I'm going to get my physical next month. I'll just have the doctor look at it. I also had several scaly spots on my shoulders that the doctors would watch. And if it didn't look right, they would burn it off. And so, but I thought I was noticing my skin was better. And I was kind of keeping my eyes on those white spots. And I had a little, it looked like a pimple, but it had a whitehead in it. And my mother had those when she was over 90 and they were unsightly. And I was thinking I'll have that removed, because when I get old, I'm not old yet, but when I get old, I don't want to look unsightly. So anyway, but I thought that might be shrinking, right? And this was less than 2 weeks, right? So I'm thinking, well, that's really, really interesting. Well, as I proceeded with these little spots on my nose, about a month later, they just got big and red, not looking like a pimple. It was too dark red. And I thought, well, it is a pimple and it'll come to a head. And I tried to squeeze it, nothing happened, right? So I kept taking by that time, I liked the stuff so much, I was taking the Marcy dose. And then I noticed it stayed really big and unsightly for 3 days. And then it went down. And then a couple days later, I was washing my face and the skin just sloughed off. And underneath it was perfect skin. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I can't even believe that. So now I've been on it about 3 months and I'm still taking the Marcy dose. And I notice other imperfections like the scaly spots on my shoulders. After taking it, for, less than a month, I got out of the shower and looked and they disappeared. So I thought, well, that's interesting. I'm gonna go off these. That couldn't even be connected. So I went off of the Marcy dose and didn't take any for a week. And my right shoulder came back, and it came back rather aggressively, which, those kind of things do come back. I mean, you can radiate them, you can burn them, and lo and behold, they come back sometimes. So anyway, I thought, okay, fine. I'm on this for the long haul. I'll do 3 months worth. Well, they're gone, the spots, but it took longer the second time I went after them. But they're gone. And I would say that my skin overall, little imperfections, which happen when you're 74, they're just starting to back off and shrink. And this little whitehead thing is shrinking. I can't wait to show my doctor because, I'm always so proud. My kids say when I get a physical, well, Mom, is there something wrong? Why are you getting a physical? And I go, honey, it's bragging material in the colonics. I want to brag about my health. I've got to have documentation for that.
Hey, tell me what the Marcy dose is. What does that mean?
It's 10 drops an hour. I just carry it around with me, So anyway, I highly recommend that, especially as you get over 50, because, cells in your body, congestion in your body, it's just harder to get it out. And what I've noticed is that the congestion, basically, I'm in this, I knew from the beginning that bad health, a lot of what created it was congestion in the body, congestion in the kidneys, congestion in the liver, congestion in the lungs. Okay. And I knew that congestion in the lymphatic system, your lymphatic system is miles long. How do you flush that out? It's a major pathway for toxins to exit. So anyway, any pathway that toxins exit, including the skin, okay, when they get congested, your whole body gets sluggish. So as your body gets sluggish with this congestion, it is a perfect environment for pathogens to live and breathe and become a dominant factor in your body. Now, these pathogens that live off your congestion, okay, also live off an acidic environment. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I can tell that I'm slightly alkaline. And because it's a micronized particle, it can, affect a cell. And in order to, these pathogens can enter your cells. I've seen it under a microscope. So anyway, as you start to remove the congestion out of your body, all of a sudden, the intelligence of the body, which is always present, we are designed and made to heal ourselves. Every cell in our body has a conscious impetus to heal. And so when you start to remove the congestion, it frees up the function of your body to heal itself. And I've seen that time and time again. I've also seen that these particular pathogens can be long, they can be several feet long, or they can be microscopic. They can live on your nervous system. And as you get them out of your body, there can be quite aggressive side effects, killing them with frequencies and stuff. But all my frequency machines work better if people are on the Cell Defender. And the Cell Defender, the side effects, this is the strongest cleansing product system I have ever used with the least side effects. Now, of course, I'm interested in that from an economic point of view. If you can cleanse someone and make them comfortable, they're going to be more loyal to it. Okay. And then they're great advertisers for your business. And so, and then there's the personal satisfaction of being able to help somebody with, extreme health conditions almost immediately. And so people say to me, well, are you going to stay on the product? And I go, well, it's definitely in the column of addictions in my life. I'm now addicted to this product line because of the health
addiction.
Huh?
A healthy addiction.
It's a healthy addiction. And I'm being conservative when I say I have an hour and a half more of productive energy a day. And joke around here every time I get a new device. My 4 daughters say to me, well, so Mom, this isn't going to give you more energy, right? And I laugh because I have more energy than they do. But it has given me more energy. And at first it confused me a little bit. I called up Barb, who's a year older than I am. And I said, Barb, do you think you're getting more energy from these products? Because I've read everything in them and I can't see one thing that would give you more energy. She said, well, let me ask you something. What time is it? And I said, 10:30. She said, it's 10:30 at night and you're still working? And I go, yeah. And she said, well, I'm still working too. She said, I'll be up at 5 and I'll be in my garden. What will you be doing at 5? And I said, you're right. I'll be up. Huh. Isn't that interesting? We have more energy. Huh. Let's see how long this can possibly last because it's quite a bit more energy. So anyway, she and I both noticed that. Well, as I thought about it, I thought, what could give you more energy? And I thought, well, if you have a lot of things that live off you and you get rid of them and they're not, living off you, living off your life force, gee, maybe that would give you more energy. And then I thought, well, I wonder if being slightly alkaline, it's a deeper alkalinity than what you get from a diet. I know that. If just being slightly alkaline would give you more energy. So I'm not sure about that, but I do know that I have more productive energy. So I have several, and I can walk quicker. I think I don't talk quicker. I've always talked quick. You can probably tell that, right? I talk quick, I think quick, I do everything quick. I might be in fight or flight for the rest of my life. Who knows? But actually, I like it, right? So anyway, so I have gotten these products on literally hundreds of people, and nobody has asked for their money back. Nobody has said they don't work. Now, they work at different speeds with different people because we all have different health conditions. Okay. So how fast your body reacts to these products. I'm not talking about even just really sick people. I'm talking about fairly healthy people. One of my latest clients, she's healthy. She has 4 kids. 2 of them are teenagers driving her crazy. But she said, well, I'll be on this product for the rest of my life. And I go, well, why do you say that? And she said, I can just tell. I can tell that so many things about my health is better. And I said, well, that's wonderful to hear. And so her husband is a doctor, so of course, she's interested in getting him the scientific information. And what's wonderful about the Avini company is we have those scientific studies that we can show people. for people that do, and the scientific evidence of how these work are available to us. And so I always say, you lead with love with this product line, you follow with science, and you close with common sense. And the common sense that I want to talk to you about is when people say, well, you know, I don't know. And I go, okay, so let's really talk about this for your health condition. What have you tried? Oh, lots of things, huh? Are you satisfied with the results? Oh, you're not. Okay. Okay, so let's be really truthful. What else do you have? Oh, nothing. That's why you're in here, is because, you know, when you come in for a colonic, you have tried everything else, because you know what? The thought of a colonic is not enjoyable. So when people come to me, they have a little bit of air of desperation. Can you help me with this? So I said, you know, I think you should try this. You know, for the cost of it, it's really relatively inexpensive for how much health treatments cost. And so let's try it. And so we've had a wonderful success with the product line. The other thing I want to talk about is that, you know, the truth of the matter is we're in a recession, okay? And it's real, and everybody's feeling it. And when I saw that young people were interested in this business, because it can be portable, you can carry it around in a laptop, it has a lot of integrity, you're actually helping people. And the cost is, you know, affordable. And then I have young people interested in the business. So then I met the owners of the corporation and the owners of this business. And I looked and I thought, the girls said when we were at the convention, I brought them with me. Oh, these people are so nice. I mean, have you noticed how nice everybody is here? I mean, they just seem like they're all good people. It doesn't seem like there's any scoundrels here, you know? And I go, yeah, I have been noticing that. And I said, well, you know, most of them are older, over 70, you know, and they had horrible health conditions and walked out of them for the most part. And they go, well, I know, but the owners seem to be sincerely interested in providing a business that has integrity and that can pay me a living wage. And I said, you know, I'm noticing that too. And I'm really excited about that, because the youth coming up, these wonderful young people, I don't want them to go to work for scoundrels. I've been in business with scoundrels. Okay. They lie, they cheat, they don't care about you. And I don't want any young person's introduction to business to be that way. If it can be a healthier way, a more productive way, if it can be fair with the money they make, I would like to be part of that. So at first I didn't really see the network marketing part of it. Not that I'm ignorant to it. I've been successful in two. What I saw was the business and how easy it was to help someone. And when I saw that, and then I started to look into the network marketing part of it, I wasn't looking for anything. I'm 74. I'm successful. I have 7 grandchildren. Funnest thing in my life is going to the park. I don't want anything to interrupt that, right? So when I saw the product line and what it did, I thought, well, I have a moral and ethical responsibility to tell as many people as possible, because people are really sick and we need better solutions. And they don't need to be this sick. You know, when you're 70, you're at a very productive point in your life. This isn't a point where you lay down and let life roll over you. You're wise, you know things, you know how to work, you have a desire to help people. And so at 70, that is not old. And at 70, we have that ability to really be influential because we've lived so long. People know us. I've been in this business 20 years. I have a lot of credibility with people, mainly because I do help them. Secondly, because I do want to help them. And people see that and they feel safe with me. So I was meditating the other day on, okay, let's look at the business part of this. I'm a Ruby now. And I was just thinking, okay, so I want to go diamond. What does that take? What does it take? Do I need to find some hot shots that really move? I'm a hot shot. I really move in this business. Do I need to find somebody like me? And so as I was meditating about it, I thought, you know what? This business moves one person at a time, one health experience at a time. And you need to have faith in that. way of moving because it has so much integrity. And then I thought, well, also, as you move and as you experience helping people, then you realize that the business itself has its own momentum. As long as you keep your attitude good, as long as you really do want to help people, there is a momentum within that good faith towards people that is very healthy and very powerful. And I brought a young girl, Brianne, to the convention. She'd never closed a pack. She had sold individual products. She was very bright, understood the science of the products, wanted this type of business that gave her the freedom. She hikes up mountains, and she is actually given a lovely testimony at the convention, but she had a horrible health condition. So she had that health condition that nobody else could help. And very quickly, she got tremendous help. And so I brought her. Well, now, and it hasn't been that long since the convention, now she's closing packs, she's talking business, she's showing it at health clubs. She's just, her own desire to help people has showed her ways that she can be in business. And so I'm really excited about that. So I have several young people now that it's just like their consciousness was just awakened when they saw the possibilities of the business and the leadership. I'm going to tell you, Neil is a man that listens. And I was so happy to see that if I call him up and I want to talk about something, he's there, he listens, he hears me. I don't, ever feel like I'm doing the business. I feel like he's managing his business well. And he's a listener, and he does want to do what's right by everybody in the business. So I'm very excited about being a part of this. Even though I didn't want a second business, I have a second business that is becoming a very powerful force here in my business. My business is there's somebody up in Havre, Montana. Now, who lives in Havre? I mean, there's just hardly any people up there, right? But I have a very, very strong leg that's in Havre, Montana, and I'm very excited about them. And, all the people up there that are growing the foods for us, growing the wheat and the crops, they've all been exposed to many, many chemicals, and, they don't want to quit working. They love what they do for a living, but their health has been very compromised by the type of work they do. And this is helping them so much. I'm grateful for that. So anyway, I have 4 daughters, and all my children are my it's where I test the products. When I give one of my kids a product, they go, "So we're taking this because why, Mom?" And I say, "Well, yeah, I just want to see if it works." You're a good laboratory, honey. So anyway, and we've experienced some really good health effects. I'm getting very excited about how this reacts to children and young children. And I have one lady that has a 2-year-old and couldn't sleep at night, is on the cell defender. And within a week, this child is sleeping at night. Well, some of these things living in our body, like to travel around at night, wake you up. So anyway, and it happened so quickly. She says, it's almost unbelievable that it happened this quickly. And I said, that's how I feel too. And so instead of trying to go to unbelievable, I try to go to grateful. I'm grateful that it is helping so quickly. I have people that, have long haul symptoms from having, a very intense flu, and old people that they can't walk, they can't enjoy their family because they're exhausted all the time. And I put them on all 3 products or something like that. And, in less than a month, they're able to return to activity. I'm grateful. My own brother saved his life. He was on his way to the hospital. He called me and said, calling to say goodbye. I'm so sick. And, I got this horrible flu, and I probably won't see it again, because he was already on oxygen. And this whole product line pulled him away from that health predicament that he was in. And now when I call the house, his wife answers and said, "Tom, Merlin's on the phone." So it's pretty cute, actually. But anyway, so I have had people really close to me really benefit from the products, and I'm deeply grateful for that. But in the future, how I look to this as a future business is this, is manageable for me, even though I'm 74 and I have a very successful business. I've managed to incorporate it into what I'm already doing. And I'm starting to attract people that have businesses that they can do this with also, as they watch me at 74 do it and handle it and create a very healthy downline. Then they say, I could do that too. I have an intense business, but I have people equity and I do care about people. I do care. I can think of 6 relatives right now that need this. So that's one of the first responses that comes out of people's mouth when they see how it works on their health. They go, oh, my Aunt Betsy, oh, my Uncle John, they have to hear about this. And so the nature of the business is they don't need to be an expert. They go to them with their personal testimony. If they're interested, then of course I'm available to talk to them, and Dave is available. And if necessary, Neil is available and Doug is available. And we have this incredible team of people that will help assist in explaining the products. And the explanation of the science of the products, I have to pray about it. I read the science, I understand it, but I'm concerned about repeating it to other people correctly, because I don't want to be exaggerating. I don't want to be manipulating science. I don't want to be expressing it incorrectly. I pray about it. I express the science the best that I can. And then I show them where they can read the scientific studies and papers to confirm what I've said is the truth. And I find that is a really nice way of, because most people that I talk to, they have a cupboard full of things that haven't worked. How about you guys? You have a cupboard full of things that haven't worked? Well, yeah. So in my business, you don't see a ton of product because I don't sell one single thing that I haven't tried myself. And so so you have to make your way through that, because people have their defenses up. I mean, have you ever been lied to about a product? Have you ever had a wrong diagnosis from your doctor who you've dealt with for years? We all have. And so we get skeptical because, we still have the physical problem that we're trying to get rid of. And so you have to work through that skepticism with people. But if you do it lovingly and in a kind manner, and they see that you truly care about them, it's quick to get through that. So, and also the people like myself, I have the credibility of 1,000 clients. So if you need my credibility in order to help somebody understand this product that possibly could save their life, like it saved my brother's life, or just make them more comfortable, or make them be able to still work. I would say the majority of the people that come to me want to continue to work, but their health problems are becoming so serious that they're questioning, can I continue to get up in the morning and go to work? It looks like, it's all fallen apart for me. And so that is a large part of my clientele.
Wow, that's just amazing thinking about that. And of course, being healthy is give your body everything it needs, and don't give your body what it doesn't need, and on a cellular level. And I'm always thinking, heavy metals and toxins, but boy, having these creepy crawlies dragging you down as well, and just silently, that just makes you want to come and see you. but also doing the Marcy dose. So you've given that to patients over time. Have you noticed any difference in how colonics perform, or just what's happening?
Well, the Marcy dose is like, even on 10 drops twice a day, I will see things come through the colonic tube that are disturbing. Okay, even at that. However, if you want to get this, if you want to clean this mess up, you go on 10 drops once an hour, and the Marcy dose. Now, the question, of course, I'm asking, and I don't know yet, is how long will I stay on that? I said like 3 months, I will stay on it as long as it serves me. Okay, because you can't take too much. It's not going to hurt you. And the truth of the matter is you get the metals cleaned out, you get the parasites cleaned out, There, I said the word I shouldn't have said, Dave. Anyway, but you get these living pathogens cleaned out, and you're exposed again. You go to Walmart. Now, what's in the air? I mean, I bought my granddaughter a doll at Walmart, and it was covered in see-through plastic, and I bought it, and I took the plastic off, and it burned my face. Now, what was in the air in that plastic? I mean, what am I giving my granddaughter? I was shocked. And so if you ever just smell in those huge stores with all this outgassing plastic, you just smell. You look at the people at the register. I stand in line and pray for them because they can hardly function in this environment. You don't want to get mad at them. Sometimes they seem like they're almost stupid. Well, it's because they're standing in just a pool of toxicity and trying to do their job. So you're going to be re-exposed. Well, let's talk about being re-exposed to things that live in your body. I used to tell my children when they were little, when they went to a public bathroom, honey, just don't breathe in there, okay?
But yeah, I think about that. You know, if you could take all this stuff and then move to the Garden of Eden where everything's clean and pure, that would be nice. But excuse me, but we all are continually re-exposed, and you know, most people own pets, and you know, you watch what dogs do, and I look at people and their dogs look in their face and sleeping with them, and I guess that's what, but I just think, well, they've got stuff, you just know they do. Well, then you have it too. You're sharing it, and I think wow,
well, if your
I take a bath every day too, so
right. If your cow herd looks bad, you deworm it. If your dog looks bad, you deworm it. Your vet would be amiss if he did not tell you to deworm your pet every 3 to 6 months. Okay. Now, they do pass from animals to humans. I've had very professional, educated people tell me they don't. And I go, well, what are you reading? Where were you in parasitology class? It's called the zoology of parasitology. Of course they pass. How did Ebola pass? Came out of the jungle, you know? There's things about Ebola that you need to know, and how it's passed and how it's transferred and what makes it die. I was reading a book on Ebola one day, and my brother came in and was laying on the couch. He said, who is reading this? And I said, I'm reading it. And he said, why would you read it? I said, there's something about Ebola that you should know. And this book was written by a local author. And I said, you know, when Ebola comes out of the jungle and it infects people, kills thousands, okay? Then when it goes back into the jungle, Tom, what makes it go back in? He said, well, I suppose something in our environment we've changed so it's not healthy here. And I go, no, this author, this book, he's a scientist. He says no. And when Ebola goes back into the jungle, it's when it decides to, Tom. He goes, oh my God, no. So anyway, you know, that's one way of looking at these pathogens. But the truth of the matter is they are, whether it's a fungus, whether it's a living thing that looks like an earthworm, you know, whether it's microscopic and it's a bacteria or virus. The truth of the matter is, someone said to me, oh, these things are all normal. And I said, oh, yeah. Speak for yourself. I can't stand the thought of it. I'm going to clean that up on my body and see if my body functions better. Because a vet will tell you a body full of these things is not a healthy body for a dog. And, you know, I like pets. I want people to be healthy around their pets. I don't want to go in someone's house and see they have pets and go, oh, how long do I have to be here? I need to get out of here. I know what's happening. I want to lean over and pet a dog and cuddle a dog just like anybody else. Well, you can give this to your pets. And I have so many pet stories that are incredible. Pets dying of disease, and they're taking these drops and they're just getting better. They're acting like young puppies, you know. Barb has got a very, very old animal that she's giving everything to, and it's really working. So, you know, it's a product line that, I mean, I have people, this is Montana, that are giving it to their horses, you know. So it's very effective. But another thing that I wanted to say is that, you know, science has been around for a long time, and now they're able to research like that. The 6,000-year-old man that lived in the Alps, and they found him frozen. What's his name? Anyway, He
The
had, what's his name?
Iceman, I guess.
Yeah, the Iceman. Anyway, they found out he has Lyme's disease. He had roundworms. They can tell. Someone said to me, were they still living? I said, of course not. You know what I mean? But anyway, but he had these diseases. So these pathogens are sophisticated, and they move quickly in the body. And if you, let's say, deaden an area of body to operate, they move out fast. My niece is an operating nurse. And so, you know, at Thanksgiving dinner and stuff, whenever we get together on holidays, we're at one end of the couch just sharing, you know, stories. You know, when we're at dinner, they go, okay, you two at the end of the table, you two need to keep that conversation until after dinner. No more talking about that. So
you know, interestingly, when they found him, he had a packet of herbal stuff, and those herbs were actually designed to treat the problems that he was having. So he had the problems and he was working on it. Too bad he didn't have the cell defender.
Right, right. Now, this is what I say about medicine these days, is that, you know what, medicine it has a lot of solutions. I want those solutions available to me. If I get in a car wreck, do not take me to a naturopath, take me to the doctor. I want the drugs, and I want the drugs that take away the pain. Okay. And then I want them to put me back together. And I know many really good medical doctors. And so I don't want to influence anyone. I always tell people when they're on this product, they have a horrible disease. I said, tell your doctor what you're taking. Show them the scientific studies, have them call me. I will talk to any medical doctor about this. And so the fact that it's compatible with medications and you don't have to go off of them is huge. And so you can enjoy the benefit of them. And maybe at some point you won't need the medicines, because we all know that there's many, many side effects. Even though they can help us, there's many side effects to them that we don't want to have. And so be honest with your doctor. The fiber is incredible. I want to talk a little bit about that fiber because I've really had a nice personal experience with it. So I know all about probiotics. I know all about prebiotics. I know about probiotics that live in cultured foods you cannot get in a pill. And I know they are like enzymes in that they work off of each other, like dominoes. So when you're trying to increase the probiotics in your body, you need what are called the wild probiotics, the ones that will not live to get in a pill. In order to really recreate this 5 to 15 pounds worth of probiotics, living probiotics in your body, you need to also have the help of the wild probiotics, which are exist in cultured foods. So I make cultured vegetables. I eat cultured vegetables. I take probiotics. I mean, I have the best of everything. And I thought for sure, I'm one of these people that has 15 pounds worth of probiotics because I don't get sick. I'm really, really healthy. You know, I have 4 bowel movements a day, healthy bowel movements a day. When you eat something, it should exit your body in 12 to 14 hours. So I've been doing that. So when the fiber came, I thought, well, let's see what this fiber does. So I was on the fiber for a month. And what happens when probiotics are multiplying? They create a little gas, and that's a healthy sign. It's a healthy sign that your body is creating probiotics, right? So I had that, and I thought that's unusual because, you know, I know I have 15 pounds worth of probiotics. What's happening here? Well, let's just see how long this goes on. Went on a month, and then after a month, now I don't have it. I'm taking more of the fiber than what I was taking in the beginning. And the gas is gone. Why is it gone? Because I have enough. I have enough good probiotics in my body. And so I've experienced, even though I have what I call a perfect colon, a perfect color, perfect consistency, perfect elimination, I still benefited from the fiber. So I tell people, when you have some reactions from that fiber, you have some condition in your colon that needs to be corrected. And so sometimes it takes a little time for this correction to happen. I want to encourage people to drink enough water with it. If things aren't rolling the way you think they should, I want you to add a couple fresh juices a week. That seems to really help. I'm not sure why. There's something in the fresh juices that isn't in anything else. It's, you know, they're living enzymes that, you know, you can buy enzymes in a pill, but that's not the end of the story with enzymes. You know, you're born with, you know, 3,000 to 5,000 enzymes. When you die, you have none. I just described death. So our enzyme bank needs to be very, very strong. And so you can take enzymes and they do help. You can take probiotics to help a little, but if the body can have what it needs, if it can have the living organisms that it needs to create health, that's exactly what it's going to do. And a healthy body has a lot of probiotics, and this is a prebiotic. But it also has one of the safest fibers I've ever seen. I don't like people to take psyllium. I've seen people with the side of their colon, having to be operated on by doctors because of taking psyllium. When you're constipated, you don't want to continue to take that because it can push a hole in the side of your colon. I don't recommend psyllium of any kind to people, especially if their bowels are slow. But the inulin in this fiber is wonderful and very safe and very effective. And might take a little bit of an adjustment, but I think it's one of the best fibers that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it feeds the good bugs, and you want to make lots of healthy bugs. The healthy, the immune system, that's such an integral part. The bacteria, the brain connection with the gut is real. So much things can get better when you're feeding your good bugs.
Well, what makes the body, there are certain kinds of fibrin that enzymes break down, but fibrin in the body, it clogs the body. When the body doesn't have enough enzymatic activity or probiotic activity to break down the fibrin that the body creates, it becomes very, very clogged. And when that happens, all kinds of different health situations happen. One of the first things you'll notice, your joints just don't even want to move. But what happens here is that when the body doesn't have to deal with necrotic tissue, and like when people go through intensive health treatments, when they have, radiation and chemo, there are certain types of fibrin that I see come out in the colonics that I only see them when people have had those treatments. However, what's really important is that these fibrin tissues and these bacterias and these living organisms, they seem to cohabitate together. Because when I see one and the cell defender does something to this tissue to disconnect it easy. So I don't know if it's slightly alkaline, if it just disconnects, because lots of it has a root system. And so, you can get it off in sheets, but then you have to there's a root system there. How do you get it out of the root system? Well, it's such a micronized particle that it can be transferred through the blood. And when it's slightly alkaline like that, it seems like that root system just dissolves. And I see it come out, and there's many different kinds, many different colors. And I have people that have been on Candida diets for years, no sugar, no carbs, and very little fruits. And I get them on this product and I see this come off in sheets. Now, when this type of stuff is growing on the good, healthy mucoid of your body, which is designed to absorb nutrients, how can it possibly do that? And then when it's growing on it and creating necrotic tissue, it's perfect food for organisms that like that. That's their filet mignon. They like that. So they have a perfect environment and lots of food. And when this stuff comes off in sheets and I see it in the colonic tube, in it are various organisms that, to tell you the truth, in 20 years, I have not seen before. I have found them in the medical books, but now I'm starting to see them and I go, what on earth? And Brianne is such an intelligent girl. She gets right into those medical books. She comes in and says, this is what we saw. Isn't this it? I go, yeah, that's what we saw. Oh, that's interesting. Now we have a name for it. But it's in the mucoid. It's woven within the mucoid. It's just, it's startling. But it disconnects. And what's underneath it, many times, what I see is, you have the possibility of brand new healthy tissue, but sometimes it's inflamed because it's been basically smothered by this stuff. So that's one step, is to get this stuff out. The second step, and that's where I think one of the things is immunity I have seen really help with, is that any sort of inflammation in the body, when you take that immunity, it works so quickly. I'm so grateful to have that, because I'm working with the public all the time. I'm exposed all the time, and I get nothing. My entire family's on it. They're not getting sick. So I'm so grateful, because there are these new strains that are out and about now that are scaring people. And we do have some way to help our bodies, our immune system, be strong enough to deal with them. And, I tell you what, the bottom line in health is a strong immune system. There's nothing else that's going to fight it better. Nothing. Anything that comes at us. If your immune system is strong and the intelligence of it is active, it's designed to protect us. So a lot of our effort in health should be to support that. And the immunity is actually the best, strongest product I've seen to make the immune system stronger.
Yeah, that's great stuff. No fillers, the real stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
when you say fibrin, like if you have a blood clot, fibrin could be good there, because that's kind of what it is. But
Right.
It's not
Well,
fiber, it's fibrin. So maybe
right. But fibrin also, when
it can be
it's not
bad.
after, well, it can clog your entire system. See, we have an enzyme system based when the body's producing fibrin to do things, right? And then when it's done, then the body breaks it down because it clogs the body. The body knows that, right? So fibrin is good, but fibrin that builds up in the body, turns into a clog in the vessel, a clog in the respiratory system. My brother had such an experience on these products that was incredible, and coughed up. He was on oxygen at the time that he got the horrible, the sickness that was going to kill him. And he coughed up two huge loogies that are basically, just solid fibrin, almost choked him to death, scared his wife, ran him to the doctor, and he said, well, you don't have pneumonia, and you don't have the sickness anymore either. You do, however, have tremendous amounts of inflammation. And so much inflammation, he still wanted to call hospice. He went home, he stayed on the product. He's in physical therapy. He's a horrible flirt. He's one of those good looking cowboys. Even when he's half dead, he's good looking. Anyway, he's flirting with his therapist and getting strong, and got himself out of a wheelchair, got himself, into a walker, got himself onto a cane. And now he's working out so much in physical therapy. His complaint is, my muscles are too sore from working out. But he has this wonderful struggle to be healthy, and is an incredible artist. And he wants to be up. He wants to be painting. He wants to be with his grandchild. And now he has the ability to do that. But the fibrin that was building up in his lungs was just an inch away from putting him in a grave.
Fascinating. So I know you got another appointment, but any final thoughts? I've really enjoyed listening to this. You're very inspiring.
Well, thank you. I'm inspired by the heart of the American people, and I'm inspired by the fact that we have a business that, the scientists that create the products also produce the products, so we don't have to worry that they will be compromised in the creation of them, or that someone will use some inferior raw materials, because many times you'll get a product that works. 6 months later, it doesn't work anymore. Well, somebody that's buying the raw materials bought cheap raw materials, and you don't want that to happen. So we have a product line that, nothing's inflation proof, but it's better than most things I've seen, because they do produce the product, okay, and they do ship it to us very, very quickly. And they are bringing new products for us all the time. And so we have a business that can be very healthy in this economic troubling time that we're in. And it can move very swiftly from person to person. In fact, I think for marketing, I can't even imagine this product line in Walmart. I can't imagine it. How would you, nobody could even explain it. It has to be explained by people that are having the product experience. And that's why they're using network marketing, and it is moving swiftly, and basically because it works so well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you in the future, and we can change the world. Let's do it one person at a time.
Yes, we are changing it, aren't we? I'm so grateful.
All right. Well, glad to have you on the team. And there's still a few limited openings available, so join now. Take care.
Thank you.